Hello. You're probably watching this video after being linked to it on the Start Playing Games listing for the Pokemon Tabletop United, the Social Ecology of Kanto game. In this video, I'd like to explain a bit about Pokemon Tabletop United, what makes it unique from other Pokemon TTRPGs, and provide some information about the campaign, including what makes my campaign unique from other campaigns listed on the website. But before that, I'll give a brief introduction for myself. My name is Jordan, and I am the GM for this campaign. I'm also a university instructor. I teach writing and have 2 master's degrees in history. This interest in history enriches the settings and characters in my games, and I actually became a historian so that I could run TTRPGs better. I've been running this game professionally for over a year, and the vast majority of the number of games listed on my profile are Pokemon Tabletop United games. As a professional GM, I've decided to specialize in this system because it requires a significant amount of experience in order to run well, and I've noticed a demand for GMs who run this system well. The game is open to all players, and I am very happy to teach this system. In fact, it is a system that I think is best learned by playing it. That said, I am a Gen 1er, but I have an appreciation for every generation of Pokemon, especially Generation 5, which is my favorite generation. With introductions out of the way, let's talk about Pokemon Tabletop United. PTU is a fan game created over 10 years ago and is maintained by an active community on Discord called Pokemon Tabletop Reunited, of which I am an active member and work on automations for the game. This community has done incredible work with the game, and we will be using their updates to the original rule set. I will refer to their version of the system as PTR, but the 2 acronyms are mostly interchangeable. Every PTR game is a PTU game, but not every PTU game is a PTR game. PTR utilizes Foundry VTT, which is what you see over here, and I host my servers on the Forge in order to ensure that we're having some server stability here. So let's talk about PTU for a second. I think there are 2 main points that distinguish PTU from other Pokemon tabletop role-playing games. First of all, Pokemon and trainers have the same stat block and can interact with each other. As you can see over here, they have the same stats that are listed on their character sheets. And if we take a look at the skills page that the trainer has, Pokemon also have this skills page. The core systems are primarily influenced by the video games, which means that if you have a cursory knowledge of the video games, it will translate over to this system well. If you're interested in the competitive scene in the video games, then no other Pokemon TTRPG will satisfy you as much as PTU will. As I mentioned, Pokemon and trainers have the same stat block and can interact with each other, and this might be a surprise to you if you are new to Pokemon TTRPGs. Not every system out there does this, and I think that PTU does it the best. This means that Pokemon and trainers can fight each other, and this makes non-Pokemon League battles, like battles with Team Rocket, very dynamic. Pokemon League battles, on the other hand, require the trainer to take a less active role and allow their training with their Pokemon to win the day. Overall, this produces a greater variety in the types of encounters in the game and sets different win conditions accordingly. 2. Trainer and Pokemon progression is extremely deep, varied, and organic. There are about 20 classes in the game, and trainers can have up to 4 of them. If you include the subclasses for each of these 20 classes as classes, then you arrive at about 50 classes. Trainers are not required to pick all 4 classes at character creation. In fact, I would really only recommend 1 or 2 at character creation. And the system encourages you to grow into your own character build. This flexibility produces characters that are extremely varied and personalized. It's also not terribly difficult to retrain your character into a different class, and I'm very forgiving, especially with newer players, about changing aspects of your character as you discover more about the system. With regards to Pokemon, you have all of the flexibility of movesets, abilities, and natures from the video games, in addition to all of the personalization that a TTRPG can provide. There are a few classes and features that allow you to deeply customize Pokemon. There is a Pokemon Breeder class that allows you to customize the typing and moveset of Pokemon that hatch from your eggs, and the Type Ace class, i.e. a trainer that specializes in a particular type, like a gym leader, has the ability to change a Pokemon's type into their chosen type. We will work together on these custom elements, and I have plenty of experience customizing Pokemon for these classes. That being said, what about my campaign? How does my campaign differ from others on this website? The structure of the campaign should be familiar to those who have played through the video games. There are 8 gyms that you need to defeat before challenging the Elite Four. These 8 gyms should be familiar to anyone who has played Kanto, but they've been redesigned with this system in mind. All of the battles in the campaign are party-wide battles to ensure that no players are left twiddling their thumbs, and obvious gaps in the gym's coverage have been plugged. You will have about 10 to 15 sessions between gym battles, and you will know the primary typing of the gym in advance. So I will be throwing curveballs at you during the battle in order to keep you on your toes. The campaign is expected to last 1.5 to 2 years, or between 80 to 100 sessions. There are clear opportunities to offboard around session 35 at the end of the first arc of the campaign, which is intended to provide a vertical slice of the content that you can expect. Although the original version of this campaign drew upon the classic elements of the Pokemon formula, it departs from there rapidly. Kanto is not known for its lore or the rich personality of its characters. This provided me with room to implement my own. During the campaign, you will meet plenty of unique characters and learn about the Kanto-Johto War, a brutal conflict reminiscent of World War I and the Boshin War that set the stage for one of the primary antagonists of this campaign, Team Sovereignty. Team Sovereignty is an imperial restorationist, eco-fascist paramilitary organization. Their goal is to reinstall the Emperor as sovereign over the island, the euphemism for their pre-war territories, and vaguely mapping onto the first 4 regions of Pokemon: Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, and Sinnoh. They are particularly interested in the indigeneity of certain Pokemon species and people to their island, leading them to strange scientific conclusions. Characters will fight Team Sovereignty to ensure that the Pokemon world is home to all Pokemon and people. Players will learn more about their organization and the Child Emperor, who is about the same age as the player characters, that Team Sovereignty wants to reinstall. This is the landing page of the campaign, and it is the place that showcases your trainers and their Pokemon. It also contains a map of the region, where you will be able to view your outstanding quests, details related to them, and the rewards you will receive upon their completion. You can also find the calendar here, where you can keep track of eggs that are going to hatch. I also have a party backpack, where you can view shared items and Pokemon between the party. There is a berry and apricorn pouch inside of it, where you can find an inventory of these items. Each trainer has a set of banked experience points that they can spend to level up their Pokemon during daily experience training. It is also during daily experience training when you are able to allocate a separate quota of experience points to your Pokemon. The goal of these experience points is to help your boxed Pokemon remain at an equal level with the rest of your party, enabling you to utilize more Pokemon than just the Pokemon in your party and reduce the level gap between them. The goal here is to enable you to use more Pokemon than just 6 throughout the campaign, and to keep a fresh rotation between the Pokemon in your party and the Pokemon in your box. With that, I'm going to conclude the video. Feel free to DM me on Start Playing Games for more information about my campaign, and if you have any questions. Also, I'm going to be uploading videos covering the basics of PTR and PTU, so consider subscribing to this channel. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in my games.